All right, so this video is for my Interactive Design 1 class. Uh, so this is the syllabus. Every teacher asks you, please read the syllabus. I too ask you to read the syllabus. But we're going to use this video just to skim to the most important parts. So if you don't read it, you'll still get the gist of it. But still give it a read. Shouldn't take too long. Use AI to summarize it. I'm fine with that too. Cool. All right. So at the top of the syllabus, you'll see my contact information: email, phone for texting for emergencies. If for some reason you need to text me for like an assignment emergency, you can do so there. There's virtual office hours, so I host them twice a week. You can sign up for them ahead of time and always cancel. It's better to have it and not need it than to need it and then not have it. You'll also see links to my portfolio and LinkedIn if you want to do a little bit of digging on who I am and what I've done. We're going to skip down to the required materials for class. So we're going to be using Figma as our primary design software for Interactive 1. There is a free educational license for students, so make sure you follow the link and sign up with your school email. I don't know what they ask for verification outside of your school email. I don't know if you'll need to submit your class schedule or anything, but just follow their instructions and get the software for free. We'll be using Google Gemini as part of the class too. That's free for students until the sign up ends in October, but I just want you to just go ahead and sign up for it and have it for the full year. We're also going to be using other related free tools like ChatGPT, Microsoft Copilot, which comes with Microsoft 365 with your school email, and then also Claude, which is another tool. There will also inevitably be other tools that just pop up in the next 4 months, so we'll wrench those in there too. We will be using WordPress for your portfolio site. I do this for a number of different reasons. WordPress sites are very easy and quick to create. You just have to usually click a few buttons. It might take about an hour, but they're quick to get live. There, you can get a free version, and it works just fine for the purposes of class. You can even use it for your site portfolio, in real in real life. The free you can still get away with using. There are also paid plans available if you want to upload more media heavy stuff. You can buy a domain, all up to you, but the free version for WordPress will work just fine for this class. I also advocate for using WordPress because the layouts and rendering are responsive, meaning someone a hiring manager for your internship or for your teacher who's grading in a lot of different places, they can look at your portfolio on a desktop, on a laptop, on a tablet, on a mobile. Everything still fits, so we can still access everything. So all of that responsiveness just comes built in. So that's why I advocate for WordPress. You can use other things. I won't be able to help you troubleshoot though, because even I personally use WordPress for my own portfolio site. So if you use WordPress, I can kind of help you troubleshoot. Their support is also really great. If you use something else or create something from scratch, it needs to be responsive. But then, the onus is on you to do all your own troubleshooting. For open broadcasting software, that is the video recording software that I am requiring in this class to help you get these scenes set up. So this scene, I'm using OBS right now. This scene shows my browser window and my face. I can switch to other screens, like just my video, for example. It's kind of like the news where they have different camera views and different layouts. That's what OBS does. So I have you use that in this class when you record presentations or videos, prototype walkthroughs, and whatnot. It's cross-platform, so you can use it on PC and on Mac. The next software is Adobe Creative Cloud. Now this should be free with CAM, so make sure you go through the steps of getting signed up for it. I don't assign assignments specific to Adobe Creative Cloud. They're mostly Figma. But when you want to do, more detailed vector illustrations, or you want to do photo editing and stuff, you'll do that in Creative Cloud and the programs in Creative Cloud. and then import that into Figma. So no assignment specific to Adobe. You may just want it for some of the refinement work that you want to do. The primary tool we'll be using is Figma. All right. The required reading here, there's one book that you will have to purchase, and it is AI Snake Oil. Now, I have this required reading for Interactive 3 because, like, the job market they're going into, like, very AI heavy. I think this will still set a really good foundation for your digital design career. I don't think it's going away. The work that I do, it's like certainly all there. So this material can be a little dense, especially if you're kind of, young in your digital design studies. Do your best. You don't have to absorb every single word. You don't have to understand every concept. Skim it, do your best. I just want you to get the gist of it. Chances are you're going to reread like portions of it at other times anyways. I have reread it already a couple times. I've also listened to the audiobook in pieces a couple of times this summer. The book is really good, really good. It sounds like the title sounds inflammatory, but it's not. Uh, it actually gives a really, in my opinion, like it's pretty balanced in explaining what the technologies are capable of, um, and what they're good at and what they're not good at yet. So I think it's a great read. That's why it's required for this class. I don't have assignments, discussions, or anything that tests to the book. So you reading it's kind of like on your honor system. I will likely have discussions that are based around the themes that are in the book. Um, but again, like you can probably still like research on your own and complete those assignments without having read the book. But I still think you should pick it up and read it. So it's required in that the themes are things we're going to cover, but I'm not testing to the book. All right, and the other like materials and books, these are all free. I try to keep my classes like the materials as free as possible. So the only thing I couldn't get away with was getting like that book for free, but everything else you'll get access to without having to pay. For your tech requirements, look up the CAM requirements. Could be a desktop, could be a laptop. There's no requirement there. You'll need a webcam for recording presentations so that like we can see your face as you're like demonstrating your prototype and walking through presentations. You'll need a compatible smartphone or tablet to be able to view the prototypes that you're designing. So we're focused solely on mobile app design for Interactive 1. So at the very least, you should have a phone, or if you don't own one, then have access to a phone that you can kind of test with. You can use a tablet, but then it'll just be like a little smaller than your screen. All right. And then, in terms of other tech with hardware, everything else is up to your discretion. I don't think I really have any requirements beyond that because it's just mobile app design. You're just designing using your computer, you're rendering it on a phone or a tablet that you have access to. So that should be pretty much it. I've got other books that I recommend too, or other websites. There's a link to my website that has like an updated list of books and resources. You don't have to buy them for the book. Might be nice to have them on your bookshelf. Good way to frame some of your design processes, but you're busy enough with all of your other classes, so I don't expect you to read those. Those are just nice to have. All right, grading breakdown. I went through that in the kickoff video, but to reiterate, 65% of your grade is assignments, 15 are critiques and discussions. Your finals are 20%. There's going to be a lot of extra credit available. Your lowest possible grade is 74%. That is what's required to pass this class for the purposes of declaring, digital design as your major or minor. So 74%. All right. Let's see here. So quick overview of your projects. You'll create your portfolio, of course, in WordPress, like I mentioned. You're going to have blogs and writing assignments. There will be a mobile app design. There will be a like usability research. Report is kind of a loaded word. You're going to do some usability research. There's going to be an output to that. And then you're going to update your design based on the research you did. And then any other projects is determined by the needs of the class. when I add things, I usually remove something that's already there. So I never like add more just for the sake of adding more. I'll evaluate the trade-offs and remove projects if I need to add something new in. All right, I've already walked through the late work and regrades, so you don't quite need that. Let's go down to class structure and schedule. So as I mentioned, we break up our class in mostly 2 week sprints. Um, there is a cadence or like a rhythm to these modules. Typically, the first week is you completing the reading, any of the videos, and starting the assignments. And then at the end of the second week, you submit your assignments. And some assignments can also be like discussions and stuff. Um, our sprints are here on the screen. So our first 2 weeks is centered around AI literacy. So I think people have learned about AI in different ways, maybe through experience, maybe through the news, in some of the uses you may have had in your other classes. But my goal here is to level the playing field for all the students and just for like my digital design students, and to give you all kind of a baseline of AI and how it's used, at least in the context of UX design. We go through, what it is, how it works, the good, the bad, the ugly, how to use it in your design process, and some parting thoughts. For Sprint 2, you're going to work on a design proposal for your mobile app that you'll be working on for the rest of class. In Sprint 3, you're going to take a beat and start learning Figma. And there are educational materials provided by Figma. You will like complete the videos. There's activities or like practice that you can do with each of the videos. They're pretty short videos, but you'll complete activities and then submit that Figma file as evidence that you completed the modules. For Sprint 4, 5, 6, that's when you're like really diving into your like app design. For Sprint 4, you are focused on kind of getting your components and getting your ideas out on the screen. Sprint 5 is really about refining and putting that content into the screen and the polish. Sprint 6 is connecting all of the screens so that when you tap on like a button, it goes to the other page. And then of course, like looking at it on like an actual device. For Sprint 7, you'll be testing your design, getting feedback on it, and then making updates to the design. And then Sprint 8 is where you communicate your vision through a demo and a case study. Sprint 9 is the last one. It's only a week, so sprints are, a little loose in terms of if they're 1 week or 2 weeks. But for your final, you'll be focused on career prep. So things like, getting your LinkedIn set up, researching internships, prepping your materials, if you're starting to look at those and apply for those. You will also see for Sprint 3 and 6, there are optional events that you can attend. For Sprint 3, we've got Colorado Startup Week. It is in downtown Denver. It runs Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. There are a lot of great sessions. Some of these topics may be a little bit advanced for you at this stage in your design, world and career and studies. But I think there's actually still like a lot of interesting topics that you could learn from, and you would also benefit from some networking, um, getting your face out there, especially for internships and jobs that are coming out. So I highly recommend it. There will be extra credit if you do attend. You can submit some summaries. For Sprint 6, that's also the same time as Adobe Max. Now, Adobe Max is a virtual conference. They also have an in-person version, but it's expensive to fly to Los Angeles and attend that. The virtual version is free, completely online. There are some great sessions that just, give you insights and visibility into how other contemporary designers and creatives use the software and a little bit about their process. I would especially pay attention to Adobe Sneaks, which is usually one of their keynote talks, and they go through upcoming launches for the software. So it gives you like a really neat preview of the things that are going to be coming out in the next 12 months. And while I want you to stay technology agnostic, like understanding that the programs will continue changing, Adobe is like one that's just been around for a long time, and I foresee that they will continue staying around for a while. So, just a good event to go to. All right. Let's see what else. I think. Oh, so I did talk about my policy on AI usage. In case you scrubbed through it or missed it, I'm going to require that you use it for some of your assignments. Don't plagiarize and pretend it's your own work. It wastes your time, wastes my time, wastes time of your classmates because I gotta take time away from them to grade work that you didn't do. So like, just don't do it. You paid for this class, so like, don't outsource your role before someone else tries to. Like, I mean, that should be obvious, but just want to say that. All right, all of this other stuff you can kind of skim on your own. But let's go into Canvas. All right. So as I mentioned, in Canvas, I set everything up in 2-week sprints. So when you go to the home page, you're going to see all these sprints here. So they're laid out. The contents in them are still going through refinement, so you may not have access to all of them on day one. So for sprint one, and again, like I'm still going through these, so don't pay attention to the dates yet. They're going to probably change by the time you open up this video. So our first sprint is on AI literacy, as I said. Um, every sprint will have an agenda. This is the one pager that explains everything that you need to know for that 2-week sprint. It'll have my note to you. It'll have your videos, lectures, links to your reading, brief explanations of the assignments that will be due at the end of the sprint. Everything after that is like the links to those assignments. But you should be able to access everything from the agenda. Some of these are assignments, some of these are discussions, some of these are just pages to remind you to do stuff, but there isn't something to submit. Like for example, signing up for Figma. Like there's no submission. You just have to do it, and then get connected to our class folder. All right. And then what else do you need? Sprint two, again, so like not completely done yet, but in there will be an agenda and all the items that you need to complete for that 2-week sprint. I try my best to open up modules ahead of time. So by the time class starts, I will have AI literacy and design proposal likely set up so that you can complete the work for one and just get a sneak peek or even get a head start on two. Um, Probably the same thing with three because that's pretty easy for me to get set up. By the time we get to sprint 4, 5, 6, I'll probably publish those all at the same time just so that you can start scaffolding and like planning your work in parallel with some of the other projects you have going on in other classes. But that at least will give you like a preview of what you're submitting, and the rhythm or the cadence that you're submitting it in. And then I don't have it here yet, but there will be a module that just is for extra credit. That's usually, I just like try to organize it all in one place, but there'll be plenty of extra credit. Typically it's for things that I don't have enough time to cover in class, but there's still things that I think are really neat for you to learn. But those will be like separated at the bottom of Canvas. All right, so I think that's enough for you to get started. So got the kickoff, went through the syllabus, went through Canvas. Yeah, I look forward to hearing from you. This class should be a lot of fun, and I really look forward to seeing some of the great work that you create in this class. So, all right, let's get started.